You weren't even taken seriously in the European ecosystem. So we ended up needing to kind of double the amount and double our ambition as well.
Their fund turnaround time is 4 to 5 years.
It's a completely different ambition level.
Completely different, and they're working at the speed of light.
It's not enough just to say that you're scaling to the Nordics. Investors outside of the Nordics is like, but isn't that just one country?
Yeah. You've just got to go and find that person, say hi to them, call them up, reach out, make those connections, and then gunning for it.
It was kind of interesting when we raised our seed round now. We initially went out and kind of looked at what had others in the space done and kind of figured out that the amount that we wanted to raise, like you weren't even taken seriously in the European ecosystem because we wanted European investors. How are Norwegian startups supposed to kind of play in the European playing field when they're expected to raise, or if they follow the Norwegian model, they're raising half the amount as European peers, but you're measured on the same metrics, basically. So we ended up needing to kind of double the amount and double our ambition as well.
So I think as startups, we also need to start getting comfortable with there is the product side and there's a business side.
Yeah.
And you need to have that balance. I mean, I was talking to an Indian VC who said their fund turnaround time is 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
That's it. And we are going to get you out and we are going to get you listing, and this is the scope that we're working with.
It's
and we
completely
invest
different ambition level.
completely different, and they're working at the speed of light. I think given the kind of dedication we have in the product here, we really have something that a lot of other markets sometimes may not have, because the customers here are amazing. Okay, they give you a very clear yes, no. They give you pointed feedback. That's very hard to get outside, actually. I've built products in India as well, and they will not give you a clear answer sometimes. A lot of it is relationship based. You have to loop in other people to get feedback. But people here are a lot more direct. So I feel like this is a great market for testing. Our wealth has come from oil. It has come from natural resources, and it continues to come from those, unfortunately. You trace back the source of the funds itself. Where is the money coming from? A lot of it is coming from that. So I feel like that money has maybe made us a bit complacent, and we need to kick ourselves in the butt a little bit about that one. But the other way of looking at it is you have access to this capital which other countries are like starved of. So then you really need visionary leadership to say, how am I going to take this money? Because at the end of the day, money makes money, right? We've got the money. Now we just need to figure out how to make that money make money. To at some point move away from just like more fish and more oil and explore a new field.
And I think it's nice to then turn the camera towards us as startups to also kind of look at that ambition level and internationalization and how we compare to the best in class on that commercial side.
It's like, it's not enough necessarily just to say that you're scaling to the Nordics, because I feel like investors outside of the Nordics is like, but isn't that just one country?
Yeah, isn't that all the same? You're already there, right? And do you guys, like, I guess it's really different from company to company how difficult it is to enter a new market and what kind of the market requirements are. I guess for you guys it's a little bit around data availability and these kind of cases. Is that the largest challenge to move into a new market?
So data availability, we have like pan-European and global data, but we want to kind of add that detail on a national or a regional level. So in that sense, yes, data is important to where we scale, but it's also kind of the market dynamics, I think. And then Europe for us is definitely kind of an interesting market just because the regulations set by the EU is pan-European. So you have, in that sense, like a big market.
Yeah.
But then you also need to look at, if we want to go beyond Europe, we need to look for other kind of driving forces in the market to validate if it's a good expansion opportunity. The US, for example, where you don't necessarily have sustainability regulations, but you have insurance premiums skyrocketing. Okay, so that's the angle that you need to take. And I think we as Norwegian startups need to look at that when we're building our product and our business model and our go-to-market strategy. Is like, okay, so we're doing this in Norway, but how does it kind of fit in to the international space and markets, kind of?
No, from Sport AI, from our standpoint, you know, we're really focused on, you know, technique analysis in sports and looking into like working with the largest sporting organizations, and they're really around the world. So we almost had to have an international perspective from day one. And because we are AI software, there was no really limitations in a way to have to go from market to market in that sort of expansion. And where we've been looking at is really around who are the leader organizations around the world, where are they kind of based, and also where is the ability to pay? You know, where is that kind of forward-leaning, ambitious organizations that actually will invest alongside, you know, leading organizations or startups who want to lead ambition and innovation. And that's kind of actually what's driven us. And I think now our pipeline is probably maybe 50% in the US and around 50% in Europe. And that's kind of how it's evolved so far for us.
Yeah.
All right. So we've covered a lot of topics such as ambition amongst VCs, ambitions among startups in Norway. Now let's assume we've checked those boxes.
Yeah.
So what does it take to actually scale outside Norway in your experience?
I mean, for us, I think it's like a little bit understanding, are there differences in the markets, or like we talked a little bit about finding those universal problems which you really solve better than anyone else, and then gunning for it. And I guess it comes into many things, but it's like finding the right people to talk to in those organizations. I think maybe sometimes we can be here in Norway and be a little shy about sometimes reaching out and going to find out how do we build our network in the US or in Europe and vice versa. And I think sometimes you've just got to go and find that person, like say hi to them, call them up, like reach out and try and make those connections as much as you can so you can broaden your network from Norway or Oslo to being a more global network. And sometimes then the world can feel a little smaller.
Yeah. And I think in the beginning, it is very much founder-led sales. So it's also through that work of opening new markets, you also need to understand kind of like, what does this market require in order for us to scale? Can we serve this market from HQ in Oslo, or do we need to build more of a local team? And I think kind of going at it in that order, kind of understanding the market and getting in there and kind of opening it before you actually go in and build something to serve that market. I think that's kind of a smart way of doing it.
I mean, and what do you think about having, because a lot of startups start with the team here, and you guys have also said it, like build the culture here, have the team co-locate, which is really important. And some startups have decided to be fully remote. So then in terms of building the culture, would you prefer, or would you look at some point having distributed teams but still have like a core here, or?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we would definitely look afterwards about having distributed teams, and we have some colleagues already around the world. But we wanted to have a kind of HQ to build a little bit of a headquarters here, a bit of culture. I think some things can still go a lot faster and easier when you have people in the same room, and even those teammates who are placed around the world, to bring them together in the same room sometimes has a huge value. But I think, you know, if you want to go for a global market and have global growth, you have to be able to have people in different areas in the world and make that work one way or the other.
When you introduce yourself, do you say you're from Norway, or do you kind of just skip around that?
I mean, I'm often saying I'm from Norway, and then they go, hold on, what? Where are you from? That accent doesn't sound Norwegian. And then I'm like, oh, well, okay, I was born in New Zealand, and then I studied in the States, and I lived in London for a while, and I've been living in Oslo for 17 years, and then they're like, whoa, okay, it is an international market, it's an international world, but I mean, that's
So actually, by saying you're Norwegian, then you're opening up, like, I have to take my life story now.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm a Kiwian, a New Zealand Norwegian. It's a very sort of rare breed in the world, but you know.
That's awesome.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, I'm Norwegian, so I don't think like I could have said like I'm from anywhere else.
There are a lot of Norwegians in Spain though, right? So could be.
Yeah, I took like a 23andMe test at one point, and I was like, oh,
You're very Norwegian.
I probably have some international genes, and then it was like 99.9% Scandinavian. So I definitely am Scandinavian.
All right. And I guess the other thing is, at some point, do you find things in the market that you feel that you could bring back to Norway, like maybe certain processes or ambition or something else that you feel like this would be great if we had in Norway?
I feel like, especially from the funding experience now, it's definitely around the ambition. Yeah, just going for it, and the global ambition as well, and the international focus. I think definitely that is something that I take out from the funding that we've done and the investors that we meet, and it's very inspiring also to be surrounded with people that are also very ambitious. It's building on your own ambition, kind of. Yeah.